Greetings, chess friends. Jim Sawaski here with chase2nm@gmail.com. This is just, I don't know if I'll have a major page, but, I just am recording my games with a video to explain what happened. Probably so in 40 years, when I'm in my 90s, I can look back and see what kind of fun or misery I had. So, these are just recordings for amusement or education or remembrance or anything like that. So, um, this game that I'm going to show here tonight is my round 4 from the Upper Peninsula Open, which is also the UP Chess Championship. And of course, the UP Open is a open tournament, but amongst the tournament, amongst the Upers, is a trophy. And so, if I can't win the whole thing, which I've only done once, hopefully I do again in the future. If I can't win the whole tournament, then I'd go for the UP title. And here's the cross table. Let me share my screen. Okay, here's the cross table. And it was directed by me and Tony Nichols. Okay. And I ended up in a tie for 3rd place. Okay. I won my round 1 against a 1200. I lost my round 2 against Ken Jewell of Drummond Island, so a Uper. Very, very bad. I was winning that game. We'll go over that one in a different video, but I was winning that game and I dropped a bishop. Yeah, very bad. And then in the morning, I played David Sundin, who was a 40 consecutive attendee of that tournament. I've played him a lot in the past. And I got by David. That was a tough game, too. He played the opening really, really well, and I played it really, really poor. But I hung on, and we can go over that game in the future, too. But this one here is the one right here, Ezekiel Houghton. Ezekiel is a young guy, probably I'd say in his mid-20s. I've been watching him since 2015 when we played in the Michigan Amateur. I won that Michigan Amateur that year, but I remember him and his brother playing, and they were both doing really, really well. So I've kept an eye on them since, and Ezekiel's getting good. He's getting really good. As you can see, he won his 1st round, he won his 2nd round, and he won his 3rd round against Eric Fishbowl, okay, who I've never beaten. Okay, so he and I mean, he took it to Eric pretty good. I mean, it was boom, 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 and that game was done. And it's kind of funny because going into the last round, I thought with that upset, okay, Eric would be the top 2 point, and he'll get moved up to the championship rounds with either Nichols or Rogers, and Houghton would get the other Nichols or Rogers, and I'll probably get some nice easy pairing down below. Okay. And little did I know I'm going to get red hot Ezekiel Houghton. Okay. And I'm like, oh my goodness, and it's just, I've been that hot young player, and I've been run down by that hot young player, and it just isn't fun to get paired. But for some reason, this particular game, I was really determined. I'd talked to Tony Nichols ahead of time, and he kind of pepped me up because I think he needed me to win. See, because if you see how Ezekiel had 3 going in the last round, if Ezekiel had beat me, he'd have 4, and these guys would have 2nd place to themselves. So it'd be a lot less money content. And I got to admit, when I talked to Tony, he really cheered me up because I was still bummed from round 2, losing that one game. And he said, look, it happens to us all. You got to focus, and you just got to play hard that last round. And you know what? It really did work. I really, really was up all of a sudden. And it was really, really good game. So I ended up winning it, which we'll see. But I ended up getting the UP championship portion right here. Okay, so I won that beautiful trophy. Hope that's not my last one, but you never know. And let's get to the game. Let's get to the game here. Okay, so it was round 4. We only played 4 rounds in the UP Open, and I had to win, and Ken Jewell had to draw or lose. Okay, because when Ken beat me, okay, the first tiebreak in UP championships is head to head. So if Ken had won either one of these 2 games, I wouldn't be UP champion. Well, I would be, it'd be co-champion, but you know, when you don't actually bring the trophy home and you tie, it's just, I don't know, you don't feel like you won, I guess. You still get a co-championship and everything because it's a pretty generous system, but it's really hard to feel good if you don't bring that trophy home. And fortunately, only one time I didn't bring it home on tie breaks, but it was because of an illegal tie break. And in subsequent years, the LSCA made that right, and I did get a trophy. So I got a trophy for every one of my UP championships, all 8 of them. So yeah, I like coming home with the trophy. Okay. All right. So I put this on Decode Chess so we could see. And let's just go through the moves here. I was white, and the game time control was game in 90 with a 5-second delay. So the reason we keep that time control is we do actually encourage time trouble for our tournament. And I think it's a good, healthy thing for the tournament. And even though as I get older, it's starting to work against me, I still think it's a good thing. You know, we don't want to be there all day, all night, all day, you know. We want to move games now. I think that's just the way it works. So I started off with my pet English. And as you will see here, we are in book for quite a long time. Okay, I end up with my Botvinnik type of system. Okay, he's delaying that E pawn, which is a variation. I don't care for it as white because it's pretty powerful. I mean, it's not anything you can't deal with, but it's one of the more kind of, I don't know, in a way, it's kind of one of the more boring or type of situations. So, and we're just playing book move for book move. It's kind of funny how this is really going down. Now, rook to b1 here um isn't quite a book move, but it's a move I've learned to play in blitz. And let's just talk about this position at this point because we're at the 10th move, and the time on these games here, I had used literally 2.5 minutes, and my opponent had used close to 30 minutes at this point. Okay, so one of my strategies as a chess player is to play very, very fast when I know what I'm doing. Now there's times you got to slow it down and you can't rush. Okay, you can't just blitz every move out, but I probably played this variation probably 10,000 times. Okay, so I know the structure inside and out, and it's really hard for me to make a mistake here. So for me to use 2 minutes in this first 10 minutes is very common, but for my opponent to use well over 20 minutes is kind of a little uncommon. Even though he's playing the right moves, it's just a hair too slow. So I was picking up on it that this could really be a big problem for Ezekiel as the game went on, and this would become a bigger and bigger advantage for me as time goes on. And so I was liking that. Now, if we look at the position here, we're at a very standard Botvinnik type of delayed E pawn situation, and black is getting ready to threaten b5 and things like that. I don't know if this will let me draw, that kind of stuff. So that, no, we didn't want that. Let's see if we can just get rid of that. We don't want that variation. Okay, So, you know, rook to b1 is, the plan is to play b4, you know, if he brings the knight into here and stuff. It probably at this point was better to develop the bishop to e3 right away. I don't think it horribly matters too much, not at this level, there's you're not really going to get punished too hard either move you go. But I went with the rook, and Ezekiel went, brought the knight back, and even though that looks like an odd move, it actually is consistent with the variation itself. I don't really care for this variation for black, to be honest with you. It's a little too soft for me, but it is he's playing the right moves for this particular variation, even though it's a style that probably some higher up players probably wouldn't care for it all that much. There's still good moves. Okay, so now the bishop comes out and he swings the knight over, and a lot of times what they do is they swing this knight to e5, and then they try to bury it in there. And of course, I'm trying to basically bust this open now, because it's like I can't really allow that to kind of get in there, because then he'll get that in there, and then he'll kind of have total equality with a little bit of initiative. So I punched it open with d4 right here. Okay, and takes. Everything's good here. This is good. You got to take that pawn. You cannot just leave that like that. Okay, it's got to be taken. So, it's a good move. He takes it back. Okay, so I went 16 moves, book moves. Ezekiel went, let's not say book moves, but 16 mostly book moves and good moves. He went 16 good moves. I went 16 good moves, and we have a good game here. We're level. I'm maybe just a tiny bit up. And then I kind of make my first mistake, and you can see on the graph over here, mistake number one kind of hits. Okay, and I play a5, and okay, so again, I am probably 5 minutes into this game now. Okay, I got 5 minutes in this game, and Ezekiel's time is about half gone now. He's at about the 45-minute mark. Okay, and I'm trying not to play too fast, because I know he's playing so slow, and I'm trying to keep it going with the fast part so he doesn't have any time left. And I kind of made a mistake here. I really should have just played b3. Okay, and I think the computer is saying that too. The computer likes bishop takes first and then b3. We're looking at it right. Yeah, right here. So it takes, and then b3 like that. And then it thinks I'm okay at that point. And actually I kind of like this position, because I like this passed pawn on this side. Okay. And with this pawn right here like that, I can bust this up. Okay, so I can cause him a lot of trouble. So where his advantage is, he's not so good, but if I get that a pawn rolling, he's going to have problems, especially if I've got the late squared bishop late in the game. Okay, if I got the late squared bishop late in the game, he's going to have some problems. So, the decode chess is kind of like looking at things like this. Okay, and I would play this. I'd play this in a heartbeat. Okay, I would take this in a heartbeat. Give me this position now. This is good. I'd take this in a heartbeat. So I still had a good game going. It's just for some reason I pushed that a pawn like that, and I guess I must have missed b4. I must have missed it, because I thought I could jump that knight to d5, and I thought I would be okay. And I think I missed something in the process. There's a tactic here or something that I missed, because it's not, none of it's recommended, you know, and it's not giving me a score on this particular move here. But something went wrong with that. And it's like, no, I can't come up with that. It just didn't work, because I really, really wanted to just bring this bishop in here, you know, and get that going. But that wasn't possible. So we went knight to e2, and he played the bishop over. And I wonder if I could have played the bishop right away. I really wanted to lock that bishop in at b6, yeah. But I didn't want this pin, and I didn't want him taking that knight, and then queen takes, and then bishop takes, losing the bishop. So I just quickly, and again, I'm playing fast because he's playing so slow. Okay, so I brought the rook over, but yeah, I really do wonder if oops. I really do wonder if bishop to b6 was better. I really do wonder. But okay, he takes. And I didn't realize he there's a reason for it, because, you know, I'm sitting here, he took this bishop, okay, gave that strong, strong bishop up for that weak knight. Okay, now I've got to take it with the rook, or else I'll lose the bishop. And I didn't really think that that was that good for him, to be honest with you. I thought, you just gave up that powerful bishop, and if this guy ever gets going later on in the game, there's going to be some huge problems. So I was pretty happy here. And then he bopped that bishop. I took it. And then he played this e5. And I actually, even though it's in an inaccuracy, I kind of like it. I do like knight to e6 a little bit better. Okay, and then to do that, but I actually like this move. Okay, I actually like bang, bring the queen back, knight up. Okay, and then I bring the rook over to try to get the passed pawn rolling, and he brings the knight in for the kill there. Okay, that is a killer knight. And I'm at this point now, I know I have some problems. But unlike the Ken Jewell game, this guy's playing real chess. Okay. You know, maybe I'm not playing the greatest at this point, but I'm okay, you know. And even with that bad knight there, if I can get that bishop active, I can probably draw this game, maybe, if I'm okay. The move I should have made, you know, it's funny, because during the game, I looked at rook to d2, and I looked at the text, rook to e1. And the reason I chose rook to e1, was because I didn't like that the knight would threaten that kind of stuff. Okay. With the check, I thought, you know, and I know the bishop cards it and the queen guards it, but I just thought there was things that would bother me at d2, even though they still would have bothered me the same at e1. You know, I'm not sure where the malfunction went on that one. So when he played b3 after, he's trying to lock that knight in right on that c2 square for a fork. Okay, so I know right away I got to get rook to a4, and now computer doesn't care for this rook to a4. Okay, but when I dug in deeper, it actually did say that rook to a4 was a good move. Okay, it didn't like it at first, but when I did the dig deeper, it does like it. So I was pretty happy about that because I did find this rook to a4 after some good thought. And I thought, yeah, you know what? I'm just going to knock that knight out for that knight and pawn for the rook. Okay. And then I'm going to open that bishop up, and I'm probably going to find a way to draw this. Okay. And if I draw this and Ken still loses, I'll still get the UP championship. And that's the way it'll be. I was like, you know, I can draw this. I can draw this. So, you know, Ezekiel makes a good move. And I bring the rook over, which turns out to be bad. I probably should have done the bishop to f1 right away or something along those lines. Rook to d1 was not a good move. But here's what I was looking at. You know, you bring it down, he brings the queen down, I take, and I can cover that pawn. So it just it is what it is. Even though it's not a good move, sometimes you got to make them because it's kind of the clearest move that can be made at the time. Okay, so there it is. You know, and I know this isn't good. It's now I'm wishing it was on d2 because everything would hold. Okay, you know, but no. So he brings the queen down to c2, and he's just choking my position. And at this point, I know I've got to take that knight. I'm gonna lose if I don't take that knight. It's gonna be lost. So, and look, it even says rook takes d4 is the best move. Okay, so it had to be done. So now we're down the exchange. Okay, and I'm still not horribly worried, although I don't like this guy right here. Okay, I don't like him. He's bad. He's bad news. He's in my throat. Okay, this is very bad. I don't like him. But the bishop, if I can get this pawn pushed just one more square, okay, one more square, I can sack this e pawn, and then I've got something going with a7, a8. Okay, so I'm just kind of watching this diagonal, this h1, a8 diagonal. I'm just trying to get that pawn creeped up a little more because see if I can get it to a6 too, and then I can sack the pawn and get the bishop to b7. The rooks cannot go to a8, okay, without losing one. So I'm just kind of sitting here biding my time. And Ezekiel is down to about like 5 minutes now. So that's the other thing I got going for me is he's using all his time to make this work, and he's just I have like maybe 10 minutes used. He has like maybe 10 minutes left. It's just crazy how lopsided. I mean, I was over an hour ahead of him, clearly an hour ahead of him. So I was kind of enjoying the time advantage. And Black has the better game. But okay, the hard part for Black is now what do you do here? What do you do here? Okay. And we have one of them weird situations in chess where I don't know, you got to be really, really good here. You got to be a master level, I think, because I honestly am not sure how this reversed on him, but it's one of them weird positions that's going to reverse just like that. Black is going to flinch, okay, and he's just going to get his butt kicked for it. Okay, and you look at this and you say Black is winning. Okay, you know it's minus 2 something on this, you know, minus 2.13. Okay, Black is winning, but the win is not easy at all. I mean, it's not even close to easy. It's kind of strangely difficult, and it's just so easy for Black to flinch. And it's so easy for him to say, okay, I'm up the exchange. I'm just going to back off and just protect, and then we'll just grind white down. It doesn't work here. It doesn't work here. What happens is he guards. This is a mistake. Okay, the game is back to equal now. And I kind of knew it. Okay, and you can see my move's black here. So it's the good move. Boom. Okay, you know, we got a6 coming. The best move is a6 because, you know, we're threatening e5. Okay, so A6, and now I'm feeling good. Now I'm feeling good. I've like, okay, I got back. I was kind of hurting. This game's, I'm not, and you know, once I got A6 and I was like, you know what? I don't think I'm losing this game. I really don't think I'm losing this game. And then I get blunder number 2 in a row. Now again, this is probably because he's in time trouble. He's only got a couple minutes. He's only got like 3 minutes left on his clock. Okay. And boom, he plays queen of c5, and I'm like, I know this is wrong, but I'm trying to like, okay, the queen takes, it doesn't quite work. It's so close. You know, I thought, okay, if I take the queen, pawn takes, rook takes, and if I could play one a7, but he can get to a8 while that pawn is still on e4. So I knew I had to open it up with e5. I took a good 5 to 10 minutes on this one because I wanted to make sure it was correct. And I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I looked at it, and I says, yeah, e5 is the only move. It really is the only move, okay? So boom, just like that. And the bishop opens up, the hero, okay? He opens up, and black cannot do, and black is lost in this position. I mean, 2 moves ago, he was one, minus 2.13. 2 moves ago, minus 2.13, and 2 moves, and it's plus 3 for me. Okay, plus 3.96. So, I mean, can you see where he dropped a rook? You know, and yet he literally dropped a rook and a pawn, literally. Okay, so the difference is just crazy. I mean, he just literally flinched, and it reversed. And you know, you just don't see that happen. I mean, you see that happen like when somebody drops a piece, but you don't see that happen when it's just kind of positional. And I can't really tell you that Ezekiel made some huge mistake here, because he kind of really didn't. He just kind of protected his pawn and consolidated, and then all of a sudden I sack another pawn. You know, you sack the e pawn, but it's kind of more of a combination than it is a sacrifice, because he backs off with it, and well, we're just gonna push that pawn, you know, and if we got to make a queen and get one of them rooks, then we'll do that too. And then he takes the pawn. Okay, and here's the combination now. I mean, I'd seen this through and through. The only thing is I was wondering if pawn takes rook works as well. And it actually does. It actually does, but queen takes d8 is the clearer victory. So takes. I seen all this. Queen it, takes, and I took it, and the game is done at that point. So just an absolute brilliant play. You know, I mean, you know, Ezekiel made 2 mistakes and I made 2 mistakes. You know, I made 1 blunder, Ezekiel made 2 blunders. Ezekiel made 3 inaccuracies. So did I outplay him? I don't know. You know, I don't know. It's one of those games. He played really good. He was hot. Boy, that kid's going to be over 2,000 in a couple of years, easy. That kid knows how to play some chess, and when he irons out just a couple things like that, to like, you know, I guess when rook to fd8, you know, that this is a moment of like taking your foot off the gas pedal. You know, that's about it. It's hard for somebody to see, really. You know, it's hard to see that that's a bad move. You know, it's just a little too defensive because of a6. You know, and you got to understand, I'm gonna give away that e pawn to open up that bishop. That's the only thing I knew to do. You know, so so that was an epic game. It got me this epic trophy. As you can see, Ken lost his last round. I won, so I had 3, Ken had 2, even though he had me on tie breaks. Even though I should have had him on tie breaks, I really should have coasted. I probably should have I should have been one of those 3.5s, but it just didn't work out that way, you know. And I lost 14 rating points. You know, how awful. It wasn't a good turn. I didn't win any money. Lost 14 rating points, but I won't lie, that was worth it. That was worth it. So that was the game, and I kind of wanted to preserve this game. I wanted to talk about it while it was fresh. It was only a little over a week ago for me. So one of the highlights of my career. You know, I'm 52 and I'm feeling like my skill is declining just a little bit, but I do wonder if it's something I can sharpen up, maybe with a little bit of physical exercise, a little bit better eating, a little bit more relaxation, a little bit more training. I'm hoping that maybe I can come back from something like that and still keep playing again. So, I hope you enjoyed. I know in 40 years when I'm watching this again, I'll probably enjoy it too because it was a heck of a tactic. I mean, E5 was just an absolute, you know, and I saw it way before I played it. I knew it was coming way before I played it. I knew that was when I got A6 in, that was when I knew, wow, I actually have a chance at actually have a chance at winning this, you know, and wow. I mean, look at how that just opened up. This is actually one of the best games I ever played. I won't lie. I mean, I'm not going to label it as the best game I ever played, but this is one of the better ones because how did I escape that awful position? And it isn't like he dropped a rook or a queen or something, you know what I mean? I actually just kind of outplayed him, you know. He just got him into a position where he couldn't make good moves and it fell apart. So that was that game. So I will unshare my screen here and I'll thank everyone for watching and we'll see you at the next video.